Part 2!
Hey everyone, this is Paul, and here I am again with my two lovable ENFP friends who, in case you didn't watch part one of my ENFP-ENFP-ISTJ interaction, this was Matt's idea.
To have part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah, so this time around we're not necessarily going to talk about Myers-Briggs per se. We're just going to casually talk about what we like, what we dislike, how we're similar, how we're different, and just you guys can analyze the results, make of it with what you will from there. So first off, one thing that we all seem to really share in common is we love orchestral music.
Yes.
For me, I would say the joy in orchestra is like the realness factor. I never like games or movies where your suspension of disbelief is just like really getting to me. So like when you've got music that sounds like it's being belched from a paper towel.
Yeah.
It to a certain extent you can only stomach so much of it because you know that it's in a game, because even as early as 1977 Star Wars had a full symphony. It's like, why couldn't games have had that? Like, seriously?
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, I like the realness of an actual orchestra and not something that's synthy that's pretending to be a real orchestra. Just do the real thing.
Although Banjo-Tooie does a pretty good job of doing a fake orchestra. That's like one of the few franchises where I actually approve of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not everything has to be a full orchestra. I mean, I think it's more just real instruments. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I think that when you use just like MIDI instruments or something that's synthy, it just, you can tell it sounds fake. But sometimes you can have like creative stuff that's, like electric guitars or something.
Well,
that's
hey, in that case, I think you would really like this game called Rayman Origins. Every song is played by real instruments, and if the composer couldn't get an instrument to fit what he wanted, he just built his own instrument.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know as much about orchestral music as you two do, but I think I really appreciate good talent and people who can play instruments well, and I love a lot of different types of music, so I think I just appreciate, especially live music is awesome. Like when we went to the symphony that time, that was so cool. There's such an emotion behind it, and just seeing people do something that they love on stage, I think it's like the coolest thing. So I like it a lot. Definitely not as well versed, but I like it a lot.
Well, another thing that all three of us share in common is that we're all Catholic, and we all have a great love for our faith. We're not just Catholic like because our parents were, or because it's convenient, but we actually know and believe our faith to the best of our ability and to the best of however our young years have allowed us to learn. So I think for me, my favorite aspect of the Catholic faith is the Eucharist, because I expressed in part 1 of this video that I've always had a hard time conceptualizing love, but the Eucharist is like a tangible, physical thing that, this webcam, you can actually feel it in your hand, you can taste it on your tongue, you can I don't know about the rest of you, but I can literally feel it going down into my stomach and just filling me up with this great feeling, for lack of a better word. And then sometimes I even hear this voice in my head saying it's gonna be okay, and I'm gonna fix this problem of yours and stuff like that. And a lot of times it turns out to be totally true.
Wow.
So what about you guys?
The best aspect of our faith, I think, for me, I love Franciscans, and I love St. Francis's life, so I try to kind of model my life in his philosophy, which is, taking care of creation, loving other people. I think stewardship is really important, and kind of just being there for others and giving of your time. I think for me, I don't know if you know about love languages, but I think I love the acts of service. So I like donating time and stuff to that. I think that makes me feel really close to God. And I think just in nature, I think that's where I feel the relationship of God most. When we go for our epic hikes and when you get that peace in nature, I feel so connected to God. So I think that's something I really love. And like I said, St. Francis's life has just really always touched me, and I think that's probably my favorite part of my faith.
Oh, silly me, I was confusing it with the Father Solanus Casey Center.
Oh, I love him too. Yeah.
They got some pretty cool architecture there.
I'm actually a Solanus Casey baby. July 31st. That's my birthday.
Ah, nice. You got Harry Potter's birthday.
I know.
Really? Harry
Yeah.
Potter 8 is now out now. Take it or leave it. I've heard mixed reviews on that.
Yeah.
Before
wait. It's a script. It's not a book. It's a script.
Yeah, it's a script, so...
For a play. So there's not as much character development, or it's not the same style of writing as if you were reading a novel.
It's more
Just
like
throwing
if
it
you
out
read
there.
a screen... It's more like if you have subtitles on for a movie. Like, that's how I would describe this book.
Mhm.
Except
That's
that you can't see it. You just have to base it on your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into Harry Potter, we definitely have to get into Harry Potter.
Yes.
But before we get into that, Danielle mentioned the love languages earlier, and if some of you are actually still treating this as a Myers-Briggs, which I hope you're not, this one's a lot more casual. I'm the ISTJ, they're the ENFPs here, and despite me being ISTJ and a lot more logical, I find that when I took the love languages test, my top 2 scores were, it was a tie between physical touch and quality time. Like, for me, being an introvert, I get the most, like, stimulation and joy from being around, like, small, intimate groups of friends. Like, this amount of people I could talk all night with. But I'm not so much a fan of, like, the big groups where there's very little substance and it's just really a superficial gathering where people try to compete to see who's the loudest or who talks the most.
I actually think that we're all similar in that, because we don't like big groups as much anymore. We like, smaller groups. And we don't really like small talk either.
Our parties where you have to be like, what'd you do last week? What's your
Yeah.
career like? Blah, 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 blah. Like,
You seemed to
yeah.
be enjoying yourself when we had that party with 2 other friends.
I think, like, that's good because I already know the people, though.
Yeah.
It's, like,
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes when you don't know people, you're at a big party, and you're just there, like, what do I say to this random stranger?
Actually,
So,
I still
do
like that, too.
It's fun.
Well, I
it's
get
fun,
nervous
but-
even when I'm with people I know. But.
Yeah. I think it's fun to, like, get to know new people, but sometimes it gets old, I think. I think it's nice to, like, be able to already have, okay, you know what this person's like. So it's kind of nice to have that, like, substance already in that friendship.
But even if it is like a party like that, I don't like talking in groups with, like, I don't know, like 10 different people where, just like you're saying, everyone's trying to fight to try to talk or to... I would rather have it be like 3 people. At least you can talk a little bit better that way.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that it's been said that ENFPs are, like, the least extroverted extroverts, or, like, the most introverted introverts. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
Or
It's
the
sort of-
most introverted extroverts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have minor dyslexia moments. Inherited it from my mother. But yeah, that sort of in a sense like puts us on an even page. So like despite like I'm an introvert, they're extroverts. It sometimes appears like we're all extroverts when we're all together, or if we're in a serious discussion that we're all introverts. We sort of have this chameleon effect on each other. And I actually have been meaning to say this for eons, but when I'm around you two, you guys really bring out my energy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, didn't want to make this too mushy. That's for another time.
Aw.
But we. All right,
Let's get on
whatever.
it.
The other thing, before I forget, we also mentioned Harry Potter earlier, which is definitely a mutual interest of all 3 of us. We've all seen all 8 movies. I at least have read all 8 books. I don't know about these 2. Haven't you read like the first 7 at least?
I've read them all multiple times.
Even the 8th book?
No, I've only read I don't really consider that, like,
Yeah.
the 8th book. I just consider that, like...
Try not to spoil too much to my audience. I like to keep my channel spoiler free.
Well, yeah, I won't, but, like, I just don't consider that... I think that, because it's not a novel, I consider
it's
it
a
just, like, something
screenplay.
extra.
Yeah.
You know, that J.K. Rowling released.
Little bonus.
Little bonus.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Snipe. Severus Snape.
I don't know that.
You don't know that? Powder Puppet Pals?
Oh, I do, but I don't remember it.
Dumbledore! Oh, wait, no. Dumbledore. And then it was, Ron Weasley, Dumbledore.
Hey, I'm supposed to be the one who can imitate voices here.
Yeah, you do a really crazy impression of all the characters, pretty much. Do your Hermione.
Since when is this turning into a request? That's ENFPs for you. Their minds just go all over the place, but I love them for it. Let me give them some love, because I know that's what they like.
Oh.
I know, because I know that's what they like.
Okay,
throw them
so
a bone.
Hermione impression. Let's see. Yes, I am Hermione. Yes, I am that mean. And that is Professor Granger to you.
Yay! I can't clap, but yay.
Do run.
Who? Me? I'm Ron. Not really much of a funny guy. I got you some new quills,
Yay!
I was trying to imitate them from the 8th book, but I keep forgetting that they're like 40, and I have like a 25-year-old voice. So
Yeah.
I tried.
That was pretty good, though.
Thanks.
I like your impressions. You do like all of them perfect. Like you were reading.
Oh, I
out of the
can't do
book.
Ginny to save my life.
I feel like she's like kind of bleh.
Well, in the book, she's
Like,
a lot better. In the
yeah.
movies, she's just
I
kind
never
of
did. I
bleh.
never did like Ginny in the movies.
No.
So, what exactly do you guys like the most about Harry Potter?
This is hard.
I think that friendship is great, and so is love. Love and friendship. And goodness triumphs over evil.
Yeah, that's.
Those are good.
What about yourself, Danielle?
I'm trying to think. Like, I remember it being such a huge part of my childhood. Like, when I was reading, I only read part of the 8th book, but, like, when I started reading it, it just brought up, like, a lot of good childhood memories. I remember, like, my mom reading it to me and my dad, and, like, it was something so exciting. Like, you remember when the first movie came out, how
Yeah.
exciting it was?
Actually, I didn't get into Pottermania until Half-Blood Prince came out.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Okay. Well, my grandparents, my grandpa, he read us the stories. This was before, the movies came out. So I was already a big Harry Potter fan. And I think that we all just wanted to go to Hogwarts and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you two actually went to Harry Potter World.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
That was
Oh, wait,
fun.
I was going to say one more thing. Oh, I can't remember.
Maybe something I say will jog your
It
memory.
was something with Harry Potter.
But Harry Potter is just awesome. It's just childhood and
Oh
joy.
yeah, so like Pokemon Go, everyone is just like looking at their phones. That's kind of like how it was when we were younger. Everyone was like with a Harry Potter book. Like everyone in school had a Harry Potter
Man,
book.
wish I was there around those times.
Made reading cool.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I guess for me,
We're just getting in.
these guys always catch me off guard every time they do that. I guess for me, what I really love about the Harry Potter series is how, like, it seems like every single time I read the books, I get something new out of it. Because, like, when I first read the books, it was sort of like a surface level understanding. Like, right now I'm just trying to take everything in. And the second time it's like, okay, now I see how these books are different now that the 7th book is out. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I see this in the 7th book, so I can look back and find them in the other books. And then the next time it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know Rowling put that Easter egg in there. And then the next time it's like, oh, okay, so these are like the Catholic elements in the book. And then another time it might be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe J.K. Rowling just foreshadowed her entire series using the potions riddle in the first book.
Wait, say that again?
That's a topic for another day.
Oh, okay.
That's like a whole theory that should deserve its own YouTube video.
What is everyone's favorite books, like, in order? So, like, from the first, like, do you like the Sorcerer's Stone the best, or which one is
I
everyone's
usually
favorite?
start from the worst and go on to the best. That's typically how I make my list.
Oh, interesting.
But I would have to say that probably Sorcerer's Stone was... I'm not going to count the 8th book in this, because that's like a totally different style. I would have to say Sorcerer's Stone is by far the worst.
What?
Like,
That's my favorite!
no, let me explain why I say it's the worst.
Ah.
Because, you see, if you weren't, like, because I watched the movie before I watched the book, so I remember reading the book, and I was like, it had such a slow start, and, like, a lot of people didn't even finish the Harry Potter series, because they're like, there's 6 more books of this mediocrity, and I keep saying, no, they get better, I promise.
I love
And not
the
to mention the
first.
plot is so childish. It's like, they're punished for going out at night to see Hagrid, and their detention is going out at night to see Hagrid. It's like they're contradicting themselves. And not to mention the whole, like, 3 11-year-olds can get to, like, the most protected object in the world, and the most evil wizard ever can't.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
that's because they're at Hogwarts.
It's
And it's magic. If
It's
ever you can't
magic.
explain something, just say, it's magic.
but it's also Dumbledore.
Yeah,
That's
Dumbledore. It's
He
magic.
probably had his reasons. See, my Facebook channel has like so much Dumbledore hate on it that
Really?
hopefully these two won't get too like over the top offended by it.
Oh.
Anyway, so the next book I'd have to say would be probably Prisoner of Azkaban would be next because
That's my second favorite.
It was. I mean, it was a good book, but it also felt pointless at the same time because like the other books all had a sense of like deep accomplishment, like something major happened to advance the storyline, whereas like Prisoner of Azkaban, pretty much the biggest thing that happened was like they stopped Sirius Black from being executed, but that was simply accomplished by going back in time. Also, Prisoner of Azkaban was the only book that had no mention of the Horcruxes whatsoever. Every other book at least hinted at it. Like, the first book hinted at, Harry's scar hurting. The second book, the diary was destroyed. The fourth book, they had, the snake showed up. So, every book had some glimpse of the Horcrux except the third book. So, the insane lack of progress, the lack of Voldemort appearing at all, it was just a little bit of a letdown. And then after that, I hate to say it, but then I would have to say Chamber of Secrets. Like, I loved that movie. No, I loved it.
Chamber of Secrets is so good.
No, it is so good.
So good.
But the rest of the books are, like,
Yeah.
so good, too. And that's, like, speaking volumes about the quality of the Harry Potter series, is Chamber of Secrets was an amazing book. I especially loved, like, when Harry and Ron transformed into Crabbe and Goyle, and that was just so imaginative, and the movie did a good job of, like, preserving the essence of the book. Like, it took out what didn't work, preserved what worked, and perfected what needed to be better. It was, like, probably the best adaptation I've ever seen.
That kind of sounded like Umbridge's speech.
Well, she is an ESTJ, and I'm not too far
Remember,
away
like,
from it.
we must preserve what ought to be preserved and perfect.
Prune practices that ought to be prohibited. Except she took it a little bit too... She took it a
like
little...
in the middle of two Harry Potter mega fans here.
She took it a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Then, after that, I would have to say Order of the Phoenix. Because, I mean, that book, it was good because it set up a lot of the drama for later books. Even if, admittedly, like, the big reveal at the end was just, oh, Harry and Voldemort have to kill each other. It's like, who didn't know that from the first book?
Yeah.
And then after that, Goblet of Fire, like, I recently started really appreciating that book, especially after I reread it so that my sister could read it on her own.
Aw.
Like, it's almost like a murder mystery, but yet it's Harry Potter. In fact, when I first read, like, the opening chapter to my sister, she, like, stopped me in mid-sentence, is like, is this even a Harry Potter book? Like, that's how cool of a structure it had. And then after that, I'd have to say Half-Blood Prince, because, like, probably of all the pre-Deathly Hallows books, that got the most accomplished. Like, they got so far in, like, discovering, like, this is Voldemort's weakness. We are going to go after a piece of his soul. Plus, it developed, like, Ron and Hermione's relationship. It developed, like, Harry's teenage side a bit more. So, overall, it was just a very well-balanced book that, unfortunately, had a terrible movie to go with it.
There was parts of the movie that were really good.
Yeah, but you can't judge a movie by just parts of it.
Oh, yeah, I know, but, like, I wish that they would have done a lot more with, going back to see Voldemort's, upbringing. And they made it a lot more into, like, a teenage romantic movie.
Yeah, it's like, I would just want to watch, like, High School Musical. If I
yeah, and then, like, because of that, by not seeing all those other aspects of Voldemort, then they just had to give Harry Horcrux sentences, like in the 7th one.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, how do you know, Harry? I just know I have Horcrux sentences. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, Harry, you're not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then after that, obviously, Deathly Hallows is my favorite. Not only is it my favorite of the Harry Potter books, but it's actually my favorite book, like, to date.
Wow.
I could read that book endlessly and still get something out of it every single time.
Yeah, I really liked how much they put into Deathly Hallows, although I thought that the camping parts did start to... I know that, like, what she was going for, because, like, you wanted us to feel...
that was, like, my second favorite part of the book,
but,
next
like,
to Snape's
no,
memories.
I liked it, but, like, I just thought that the camping parts went a little bit too long.
Actually, I was saying it didn't go by long enough.
Really?
I thought they were in the woods for too short of a time.
Wow.
Really?
Although you love hiking so much.
I do love hiking, even though I don't like travel, so maybe that's a bit of a paradox.
So, your turn, Danielle.
Oh boy, what was the one that was the fifth one?
That was Order of the Phoenix.
That was
I
my least
hated
favorite
that
one.
one. That was like my least favorite.
Even
for
Harry's
sure.
awkward date with Cho.
That was just awkward. No, I didn't like that.
Oh,
I just felt like the whole book, like, it made me, actually, I put that book down and I didn't read it for like a really long time because I was just so disappointed with it. That was my least favorite. But my first favorite is probably Chamber of Secrets. I like that one a lot. I thought that was
Because
good.
Harry had a high-pitched, squeaky voice, and
He was cute. I just thought it was good because, like, I didn't know what was going to be happening. Like, and I liked, I don't know, I just liked the whole aspect of the snake and everything.
the whole, like, almost like pre-shadowing the Goblet of Fire murder mystery.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite. And then the first one's my second favorite because it was just the first one, which was cool. Then I think I liked the third, then the fourth, and then I think, like, the seventh book, and then sixth, and then the fifth. The fifth was my least favorite.
I think you kind of did that a little bit out of order.
I'd like 2, 1, 3, 4.
No, I mean like I think you listed like your least favorite book after your favorite. You were supposed to do it from bottom to.
Okay. Anyways.
Well, I'm okay. You can all tell that I'm the list maker here because I have like an insane amount of lists on my Facebook. If any of you happen to be friends with me.
All your music ones? Do you have really good music ones?
Music, Harry Potter, Memories of My Year, you name it. I love categorizing things. I love organizing. I have what you would call a compartmentalized memory. So, like, I always put things neatly in their place. So, like, I'd say, even when I pray, I don't know if I told you this, but even when I do, like, my nighttime prayers, it's going to be awkward on the webcam because it's all reversed, but, like, over here, I'd have, like, my 3 best friends. Then over here, in, like, a diamond-shaped column, I'd have friends that used to be my friends that I'm still praying for. And then, like, there's this wall. And then somewhere over here, with, as best as I can do with mirror imaging, there's, like, my 2 best guy friends over here. And then, like, in the corner over here, there's, like, 2 good female friends of mine. And then they're, like, overlaying another good friend of mine, and then over on, like, this side are all the couples that are, like, married that I'm losing track of because I'm old and my friends are all starting to get married. And then down here is, like, mission trip people, and, like, over here is, like, a girl I met at NCYC, and it's just, like, I always like to, like, put everything in its place, and that's just prayer. Like, just imagine how I am with everything else.
That's a lot.
How
How
do
can you keep track of that? That would be so hard.
The difference between sensing and intuition, I guess.
Yeah.
You need a pensive.
That would be cool.
Yes, I would love to have a pensive. Because, like, when you have so many thoughts swirling in your head, you're just like, I just want to take it out and look at it. Oh, wait. It's called a Facebook note.
No.
Yeah.
Put them
So, because I like keeping my videos, like, below 25 minutes...
We're at 25 again.
Wait, I gotta tell my favorites.
Oh, right.
That didn't
Well,
get
I guess that'll be a nice little
Yeah.
grand finale.
And then
Okay, if
I
it's-
didn't get to talk about my favorite parts of the church either. I'm getting left out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry, Matt. We'll include you.
I was about to go like this too. Okay, Matt.
Okay, well, we can make it go a little bit over 25 minutes.
Okay.
I keep forgetting. You guys are perceivers. I'm the judger.
Well,
I'll pretend that I'm not a
It's
judger for
23.
this.
I can wrap this up soon.
All right, go fast. What's your
Okay.
favorite part of the church?
That's probably why we skipped me. No, I think that I think that it teaches you, like, basically the blueprints for life, like how you're supposed to live your life. And I think that even if you aren't, like, Catholic or Christian or anything, I think that we can all agree that, you know, you're supposed to love one another. And I really like that about the church. But I think that most of the world kind of thinks, like, okay, look after yourself first, then others, your friends and family, and then look after, like, maybe God. Like, and we reverse it as Catholics. God comes first, which helps you to then love others next, and then, like, yourself. Like, I think that I put myself, you know, last. You know, God, then others, then myself. I think that's how it's supposed to be, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that about the church. Okay, so Harry Potter. I like the first book the best, and I think it's just because the excitement of it. I remember like, exactly how I felt of, there's that extroversion thing again.
Yeah.
How
you
ESFP.
felt.
Yeah, I remember how I felt. So I was just so excited with that book, and I loved being introduced into that world, just like how like Harry was. I really like the third book a lot, and I don't know. There's something about that book, about that story that I really enjoyed, and I was really excited throughout that book. I really like I think the second and the seventh are kind of tied for me because, again, I remember the excitement of having that last book and just everything that went down in that book. I really like that one. So yeah, I'm gonna say like second and seventh are tied. Then I'll go with the fourth book, then the sixth book, then the fifth book.
Okay.
There
So
you
the
go.
fifth was your favorite then?
No, the fifth was my least favorite.
He
I
did
went
it from
in-
favorite.
I went
Oh.
favorite to the least favorite.
Different order than I'm used to.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to flip my brain around some other time.
Okay.
Okay, just over
Anywho,
25.
well, you think this is close enough to 25 minutes, or do you guys like have more crazy ideas?
Any craziness left?
No.
I think I'm good.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up for now. But hey, we gave you a massive over 50 minutes of ENFP, ENFP, ISTJ
You win.
extravaganza.
I'm
So
just kidding.
thank you, Matt, for that wonderful idea. Thank you both of you for
Aw.
being willing to join me on this project, and congratulations again for being engaged.
Yay!
Thank you, Paul.
All
Thank you
right.
for having us. Too.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
So, as last time, each of us is going to have an opportunity to do a catchphrase. So, let me make sure I've got the right hand in my webcam. For me, as always, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless.
I think- yeah.
Treat everyone like it's your birthday and keep it classy.
Bye.
Have a good one, guys.